Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which also comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Alright, and I came across this article about a week ago or so, close to a week ago. And for you, for those of you that are not aware, while this whole, P. Diddy, Tory Lanez and, Papoose, situations are going on within the, quote-unquote black community. Here it is. You have these damn demons behind the scenes, pushing forth their diabolical agenda. Okay, and ultimately, speaking to 2020, when we had that lockdown, because of the whole global situation that was going on, and we're gonna have to speak and read between the lines on this one, Akiyam and Akwa, because you're aware of. All right, it's not going to be the same as last time, man. All right, it's not going to be the same as 2020. All right, this time they're making sure that they cover certain grounds, certain criteria of availability for you people where you can't do what you were doing last time. It was a test run the last time. Esau's big on data. He's big on studying the subject and knowing how it eats and sleeps and mates and produces and all that. Scripture says they're wiser than Daniel, man. There's nothing you can hide from this dude. So he's all about data. So that first time around, he was pretty much collecting data, seeing how he can pretty much manipulate the scenario next time towards perfection. Being that he'll have all bases covered, he'll have a specific analysis of the mindset of the people, to where he'll know how to control the situation at its utmost. Okay, now what you're gonna see in this treaty, that they just passed on May 20th, under everybody's nose, it's gonna give the WHO, which you already know what that's talking to, some serious sovereignty, man, when it comes to any type of scandemic that may happen, or any national security situation that may happen, man. Okay, so, hey, as the men of the Lord, servants of prophets, man, we're on our watch, we're watching. We know Esau is on the move. Hey, so are we, through the spirit. And we're paying very close attention, man. And we're sounding the alarm. We're sounding the alarm, man, and only those of you who are the wise are gonna hearken to the sound of the trumpet. And you're going to prepare yourself for the battle, man. But yeah, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwa for edifying. We're in a beautiful time, yet deadly, man. But at the end of the day, salvation comes with a dangerous path to travel. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But hey, yeah, man, we're not deceived by this dude, by his the movements he's making, his schemes. We know exactly what his plans are, man, through the spirit. Because at the end of the day, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has given us the Holy Spirit to be able to see through this dude, okay, like a looking glass. Let's stop right here real quick through the spirit before we tap into that article. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, and verse 11, and it reads, lest Satan shall get an advantage of us. And this us is talking to the elect, man. Because at the end of the day, only the elect Only this applies to the elect, as I'm going to continue to read. For we are not ignorant of his devices, man. Okay, so the elect of the nation of Israel are not going to be ignorant, all right, of the devices or plans of Satan, man. Okay, which Satan's plans are going to be exercised and displayed on the planet Earth through who? Esau. You can prove that when you go to the book of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Them whose comings is after the works of the spiritual demon Satan, man. Okay, so we know evil E operates under that agenda. You see, so it's him. Okay, he's gonna operate. He's gonna come through with these plans and schemes and efforts to what? To snare us, man. Being that he is that he's that fowler. As a matter of fact, let me get this real quick. I believe it's in Proverbs. Bear with me. No, it's in Psalms. Psalms 91. That's the spirit. Right here. The book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, chapter 91 and verse 3, and it reads, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, okay, and from the noisome pestilence. Now, real quick, bear with me, man. When you go to, let's get this real quick. And when you get this word,
Strong's H 3353, Yakush, Gesenius Lexicon, Yakosh.
all right, now you see it. When you get it in the biblical outline usage, right, it goes into a fowler, goes into what? A trapper, right? Look at a bait layer. Okay, so we know he sets up traps. All right, Esau sets up traps, man. All right, throughout. That's why this is coined as the battlement of the city. All right, we're in the battlement of the city, man. All right, well, we can be snared. As a matter of fact, let me prove that real quick. Bear with me. Let's go ahead real quick. And how does he set up these various traps? He uses his laws, man. Let me see here. I want to say that's a rock 9. Yep, Kala Yahabashim Yahushai. The book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 13, it reads, keep thee far from the man that hath power to kill. And who's been given power to kill? Esau. That's why he's been blessed with the sword. Okay? Isaac told him that what? He would live by it, man. Okay, a sword is a deletion instrument. Okay? So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, okay, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, which are traps. You see? And that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city, man, which is great city Babylon, man, is where we're POWs. We're being held captive. We're prisoners of war. Okay, why do you think we fill up these prison systems, man? Because through Esau's judicial system, through his laws, he snared Jake. That's why Jake is always falling victim to what? To the snares of the fowler. Jake is always getting trapped. You see, he's falling for the bait. Okay, but for the elect, let's go here. For the elect, all right, let's go here. Lord willing, with probably that precious number. For the elect, scripture says this. The book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 17, it reads, surely in vain, man, which means for no reason, the net is set. The net is spread in the sight of any bird, man. And in this case, those birds where that net is set in vain upon are the elect. Why? Because they're going to be able to see through evil E like a looking glass, man. They know Esau's plans. Okay, the elect knows Esau's devices, man. His plots. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Hashai, through the Holy Spirit, Lord willing, with power of that precious number. You see that? So when it comes, when we tap into a talking point like this, all right, we know exactly where this dude's about to take it. Okay, bear with me. We know exactly where this dude's about to take it. This is from Natural News, dated May 23rd, 2025. All right, and the title reads, and we got to be very careful with this one. All right, we got to use wisdom. All right, so the title reads, right? WHO. All right, for those of you that don't know what that's going into, you got to look into it. You know, because those would be buzzwords if I were to say it. But anyways, WHO. All right, scam-demic treaty sparks sovereignty concerns amid secretive voting and U.S. withdrawal, man. Okay, now we're gonna tap into the criteria of this treaty real quick. We're not gonna go too crazy. Okay. Let me see here. So I want to jump down to the point. Now I'll try to put this in the description, but I know Evil E hasn't been letting me put any more articles in the description box, man. Why? Because it's effective. It was becoming effective. But anyways, let's read into this real quick. I'm gonna jump down into it. Let's start right here. A controversial global scam-demic treaty was adopted by the WHO on Tuesday, May 20th, despite heavy criticism over its undemocratic, adoption process, man. Vague legal framework and perceived threats of national sovereignty, man. You see? So they'll have big control, man. This treaty gives them big control if something was to break out. Unlike last time when you had the ability to claim religion. All right, as to why you weren't letting them climb inside you. Hey, not this time. Look it. The agreement. I don't know who that is. Anyway, continuing on, the agreement, formally the scam-demic accord, that's what it's called, was finalized at the 78th WHO Assembly amid a contentious debate that underscored widening rifts between nations prioritizing local governance and those ceding authority to international institutions. So, hey, they're in a division amongst this agreement here. They're not all agreeing with this, man. Hey, and Babylon pulled out of it. You see? So they're not even in agreement. Let's get a little more. Look at the vote held a committee setting saw 124 states vote in favor, while 11 abstained, including the U.S., which announced its withdrawal from the WHO last year, right? As 46 countries were absent. Okay, so it's a complete clown show, man. What's going on with Esau? But anyway, let's continue on. Human rights groups flagged the vote's transparency as the WHO used the show of hands. Okay, they used the show of hands method without recorded counts. It's a complete clown show. All right, what's going on right now? We're witnessing the fall of an empire, man. Okay, they're in shambles, man. Esau's in shambles. Is there no more wisdom in Teman? Okay, Look, Slovakian representatives led by Prime Minister Edward Heger staged a last-minute bid to force, right, a recorded vote, deeming the process a charade, man. Okay. So right now Esau's laughable, but hey, this is what the reality of this thing is, man. Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, man. All right, that's why they're gonna take it there. That's why they're gonna use a law. A treaty goes into a law, man. Okay. So they're gonna use their strength, because the law is their strength, as the scriptures tell us. And we're gonna get that, matter of fact. But let's get a little bit of look at the blueprint of what this looks like. So let's get a little more information on this, as they call it, the Scamdemic Accord. Right, let's get a little more. It says a blueprint for expanded WHO power. Look, the Accord's 30 articles reshape the WHO's role in global health governance, granting it unprecedented authority. You see this, y'all? Now, all this was happening under the nose of everybody, while all these distractions are being brought forth on social media and on the news. Okay, with these quote unquote celebrities, man. Specifically, Jake. They're using Jake. Jake is the gasoline, man, to their celebrity machine. You see, that's why they got Jake on the scene 3 ways, man, distracting everybody. Not to mention their gladiator games. Okay, while they're doing this in the cut. But we're watching them. You see, the men of the Lord on the high tower, man, sounding the alarm, man. You see, look at Article 4. Let's get a little bit of this. Right, establishes WHO as the directing and coordinating authority with supremacy over national health policies, man. You see, what's that mean, man? When you go into the nuts and bolts of that. Listen, you don't gotta say so. Hey, we have a global situation. You're doing this, or so be it, man. That's the type of stance that's gonna be taken. Look, Article 8 accelerates. You see it. Juicy juice approval timelines to 100 days. Right, a drastic reduction from historic 5 to 10 year advantages. Why? Because they're whipping up a whole new recipe for you, man. Okay? Look at raising concerns about safety and efficacy standards. And I wear efficacy, they were throwing that around with your boy. All right? What's his name? Forgot his name. He pretty much played the front man. For the last scenario. Oh yeah, Dr. Fauci. Right, that was his favorite word, efficacy. That was the only word in his vocabulary he knew. Right, let's continue on. Right, look at Article 17, mandates. Right, social listening tools to counter disinformation. Critics argue this legalizes censorship of dissenting scientific voices, man. So this is how they're going to be able to move without anybody spilling the beans on them. Because the last time the beans were spilled, it was found out that they were dealing with the nano. And I'm going to leave it right there. Article 6 and 7, control over global supply chains and intellectual property waivers, centralizing decisions on juicy juice distribution. Control over global supply chains, man. Okay, they're going to pretty much be able to take over the economy. Listen. Hey, man, hey, we here. It's about to get real quick. Okay, it's about to get real quick. You see? And as he's always done, Evil E, he's using law. Let's go ahead. Where's that at? Is that Wisdom of Solomon? I want to say that's Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd or 3rd chapter. Let's find out. Let's try Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter first. Yeah, it's the 2nd chapter. Yeah, because they're reasoning with themselves and it goes into it. Let's see here. Bear with me. Let me see if I can find this here. Khan. There we go. Kala Yahabashim Yahushai. I'm going to start at verse 10. The Book of Wisdom of Solomon. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 1 and jump down to the point. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 1, so we know who this is talking about. For the ungodly said, and we know the ungodly is who? Esau. Okay, how do we know that? Hebrews 12 and 16. There's no one more profane, all right, than Esau. To be profane means you're outside of the temple. Okay, he is the wicked. Okay, and you, Jake, all right, I have adopted his ways. All right, you mingled in with him. All right, you touch and pitch and have become defiled therewith, and you're gonna find that out. Okay, when this dude stabs you in the back, man. Okay, when you're on the next mission you on with him. Anyways, let's continue on. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 1. For the ungodly said reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Right? Because why? Because they're crooked. You see, the spirit in them that's lifted up is not upright in them, as it tells us in Habakkuk. You see, look at our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave, and that's why it's talking to them not reasoning aright, man. Because as we know, there's a such thing as reincarnation. And in Esau society, he pushes hell and death. Hell and heaven, as far as you not coming back again. And once you die, you either go to hell or you go to heaven, and that's that. You know, dust your hands off. You see you later. No, man, that's not the reality. Hey, but this does stand true for kingdoms. Okay, a kingdom does not return back from the grave. Once a kingdom's out of there, it's gone. You see? That legit specific kingdom will never come back. It could be, there could be a replica. Like we see America's a replica of Western Rome. All right, but over there in the East, Rome is level, man. Rome has been brought back to life over here. That power structure. You see? But anyways, jumping down to verse 11. Let our strength, all right, this is the ungodly, all right, speaking, thinking, operating. All right, this is how they're moving. Look, bear with me, Aki Aminakwa. All right, here we go. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 11, and it reads, let our strength be the law of justice. See? For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth, man. So he's able to overwhelm you, overpower you through his law. Okay? This is what he's always done. This is in his mind, this is what justifies him. You see? This is what justifies this dude. And this is why you see this. This, in his mind, this is what justifies him. But this is wicked, though. You see? But you better believe the Lord's going to step in. And we just inching closer to salvation, Aki Aminakwa, is all it is. You see? We're inching closer and closer to salvation. Because you already know, when this dude comes storming in, okay, like a roaring lion, hey, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is going to intervene, man. Expect divine intervention. All right, expect it. Because we're getting close to that next situation that there's going to be no turning back from there, man. The lights are going to go out, and all hell's going to break loose, man. All right, and this is when our reality is going to become you people's reality, man. The difference between us and you, Lord willing, if we're part of the elect, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is going to be working with us. You see? He's going to be working with us, man. And guiding us and guarding us everywhere we go. Preserving us from these sad perils, man. So yeah, Aki Amin Akwaf, hey, the reality's here. Hey, salvation is close. All right, this man's in a quagmire, as the elder apostle Ariam Lab says. All right, Esau's in a quagmire, man. He's in a jam. He's got to take it. He's got to take it there. Why? Because he's running out of time. Let's close out here. Revelations 12:12. And it reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Right? We ought to be rejoicing. From the servants of the Lord to the you beloved men, women, and children that believe the report. We ought to be rejoicing, man. Why? Because we're seeing the fall of our enemy. Look, woe, right? Destruction to the inhabitants of the earth, though, right? And of the sea, right? For those that are not within these realms of understanding, those that are not dwelling in the courts of the Lord. Woe unto you, right? For the devil has come down unto you, see, showing you they're not going to have any type of hedge. They're not going to have a divine spiritual hedge of protection, man. But the elect is. Look, having great wrath. Look at the devil has come down unto you having great wrath. We know the devil, that's Esau. A devil being a slanderer, a false accuser, right? That's him. A deceiver, that's Esau, right? He's going to come down with great wrath. Why though? Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, man. Time is running out for this dude. Okay, and now he's about to make war. Okay, with the remnant. But we know the end of this story. He loses, man. Hey, so stay prayed up. Hey, stay prayed up. Aki Amin Akwaf. And we getting close. Stay watching. Stay watching. Esau's doing things, man. Don't get distracted. All right, by these various tentacles in the form of his outlets that he's using to keep you captivated while he wiggles around the back door, man. Okay, and creeps in. Shalom.